All right, so let's talk about addictive personality traits or having an addictive personality in general. Um, I know I have an addictive personality, and I'm sure a lot of you that deal with substance abuse or any type of over excess and, a lack of moderation in any area, you can relate to this and you'll realize like some of your family members may be this way, it may be in your family tree. But like, there's no like middle ground for me with things. It's always 0 or 100. Like, I want nothing to do with it, or I'm going all in, going pedal to the metal, and it's with all aspects. Like guitar, I'm obsessed with it. It's a pro. It's a good thing. There's pros and cons to it, right? It's how you utilize it. Alcohol, absolutely terrible. I drink until I can't drink anymore, right? Gaming, like if there's a game that really grips me back when I was younger, not so much now. I could play 12, 15-hour days when I was a teen. I was super addicted to games. I still am, but it's just I don't have the attention span like play. I have not played a game more than 2 or 3 hours in a row in a long time. But if there was a new game that gripped me like that, I got to moderate that. Like I live by the philosophy now, finances and fitness come first, and then gaming's in the background. But gaming can be addictive. Food, there was a point where I gained a lot of weight. I was eating a lot of food. And food is sort of like a drug. You need to learn to moderate that. I look at food as like a fuel now for my body and look at it from like a scientific. I still love cheat days. I love sugars, but I just know where that leads if you're doing it day in and day out. Um, so you have to learn to manage it, okay? Um, what the one guy stated it like, I have the disease of more. Always want more no matter what it is, right? You always want. Just like with drinking, it was always one is one too many, one more is never enough. First the man takes the drink, then the drink takes the man, and it's true. Like it's always to excess every single. Even if you're saying you're going to moderate, I remember trying to moderate. I'm going to have 1 per hour. It's out the window in 2 hours. Having 2 per hour or whatever. But it's all in how you channel it. And when you change to a sober lifestyle, your neurotransmitters will change. Alcohol, cravings, and stuff. Your brain's wiring around that. And you're used to doing it, weekend and on every weekend or day in and day out, whatever it is. And you're used to it. And you have to habitually change that to like the gym, an instrument, hobby, hiking, camping, you name it. You have to like change your reward system into something else. And then, time your dopamine receptors will come back and you'll get enjoyment out of things you used to like. Like for me to enjoy stuff on the weekends or like a new game release, I had to be drinking. I remember like when a game release would come out, I would have such an urge to get a case of beer or like a bottle of liquor. And there were times I gave into it and then I didn't even enjoy the game release when it happened because I was so drunk. I remember these times. It's like it would ruin my experience, but I wanted to use it to like enhance my experience, right? Because of the euphoria and the dopamine rush, and then that all goes away, and then you're stuck in this pit of hell, misery. But yeah, it's just you have to learn to channel it and try to focus it towards positive. Even like I was super obsessed with like crypto and stocks, and I was learning technical analysis, and I still do, but it's not as heavy now. Like I lost interest a bit. That can be attributed to like ADHD too. Hard to focus on one thing, other topic. But I was like super into crypto throughout 2020, 2021, and I was a little into it back pre 2017, but I didn't really make many investments at all. And then I got into it heavy, like thousands of dollars. I was in and out trying to scalp, had losses, I had gains. It was an insane wild ride. I have not really messed with it this year. I may get back into dabbling with it. I was in the stocks. I learned a lot of technical analysis, and I still try to do TA, but I'm not actively investing at the moment. I went wild with it, and that's a part of my addictive personality. Like, I was looking at crypto charts way more than I should have been. And I know there's a lot of people that do this. Like, it's not uncommon. If people that are in the crypto and they know the space and they know how to read the trends and stuff, I was obsessed with it. I mean, there were times I probably, oh my gosh, during like the Doge hype and like, you know, GameStop, AMC, after that era when crypto boomed, you know, Bitcoin had its rallies up, and like I got severely into it, and I could have really got hurt. I mean, a lot of people bought crypto high, lost a lot of money. I fortunately got in and out, and I didn't really get messed up from it. But I know people look at Terra Luna. If you know about that, that's crazy. This is a whole other topic. A lot of people probably aren't interested in crypto, but it's another thing I was obsessed with, and I learned a lot, and I'm glad I did. But now, like, sort of like, my interest isn't like it was, like watching all the time and being obsessed with my investment and when I was in and out and this and that and reading trends. I learned what I learned, and I want to utilize that in the future, but enough's enough. Spending too much. Not a bad thing, but moderation and everything, even moderation, right? Just another topic of something I got obsessed with. Guitar, there was a point where I was obsessed with the MIDI keyboard. I was learning piano. This was years ago. I'm still kicking myself in the butt because I have a bunch of equipment and I haven't gotten back into it. And I need to do it, and I want to do it because it's one of my passions. I would make like electro music, trance, house, and I was, you know, I gave up on it a long time ago. And I could have got, you know, I could have kept advancing and doing it. Like YouTube videos on my old channel, I was obsessed with that and then fell out of it. Things happen in real life, work, partying, you know, life goes on. But I flip around so much. In present day, like the past few years, it became like collecting. I was like impulse buying and getting deals on cards and retro, and I was going a little too far with it. I've been cutting back a bit with it, but I've never went into debt or bought anything on debt. I've always had the cash on hand to do it, and I still do. It's just sort of exhausting. That itch, like it was just such an itch. Like I want this, and eventually it goes away, and then I'll move on to the next thing. Like gambling's never really been too much of an issue. Like I don't mess with scratch offs. I'll go to the casino once or twice a year, but I haven't been over a year and a half now. But I'll go and take $200-300, lose it, and then leave. Or I was huge into like Texas Hold'em for like 2 or 3 years. I was going to home games around town. I was actually doing quite good. I got pretty good at it. It's actually profitable and at the casino. But the thing was, if I go with family, I could spend 8 hours off on my own. Hold'em, and I play more slots when I'm with family so I can spend time with them. But I was doing quite well in live Texas Hold'em play too. This was years ago. But that was another obsession. 2 or 3 times a week, I'd be working, playing poker, and I don't regret that either. I'd like to revisit that in the future too, but it's been years. I've had people contact me to play numerous times. They sort of given up now. I just lost interest. Like it's crazy how things come and go like that. But currently, it's collecting. I've the past 3 years, it's just been insane. It's been insanity with collecting. I've spent loads of money. I've made great physical investments, and I've you know, some have went down in value, some have went up. I don't really care if they go to zero. I'll just buy more. That's how I win at this. But there's some things I've spent $10-20 on, they're worth $100-200 now. And I'm sure there's things I've spent several $100s on that'll be worth 50% less in the future. And that this is definitely an addictive personality thing, you know, like impulse buying. But the thing that separates me, I have the capital to do it. All jokes aside, I've never used credit lines. People out there using credit lines and stuff with this kind of trait, they're building a lot of debt and interest, compound interest, and that can severely cause issues in someone's life. But for me, it's a fun hobby. I don't regret any purchase I've made, but that's an obsession. You can see it all over my channel, like tracking different TCG games, retro collection from childhood and building upon that, and like vintage stuff, Funkos, even though recently Funko scare me with the stuff going on with Funko Pop, ditching a bunch of product in the landfills and not going, whatever. I'm not really messing with Funko. I'm not really heavily invested in the Funko, but I like my collection. I'm glad I have it, but my lust for those things sort of subsided quickly. I'm still into Amiibo. Those are just, Nintendo doesn't overproduce per se. I do. I love Amiibo. I think they're the coolest small figures. Oh, she was talking crap. She didn't know I had my head. She goes, they're beautiful. I mean, she didn't know I didn't have my head. She's used to me having this on, and she goes, they're beautiful. They are. They're the coolest small figures, and they're my recent obsession. Like, it was like, this video is getting too long, but this is how addictive personality goes. Especially since I'm sober and I can't dole out and I'm not focused on drinking. It's like my attention, I think this is mixed with ADD too. I was like heavy into vintage, Magic the Gathering, Reserve List I was obsessed with, dropped that, bought a bunch of beta, which I wish I bought alpha. If you don't know anything about cards, I apologize. Showing you how quickly I can switch. I went to like hardcore Pokemon, then Flesh and Blood, then back to vintage Magic the Gathering. And at the beginning, it was modern Magic, and I dropped that quickly because it's a waste of money and the value of everything modern MTG goes down. So I stopped that. Went back to vintage, back to Pokemon, and recently I have not bought any Pokemon or Magic. Just subsided. Then I was hardcore into HRO NFTs, the twinning, like the physical that you could scan into your online collection. I was obsessed with that. And I'm going to probably spend a pile of money into Chapter 3 when it comes. You know what that is. A lot of people clue, but that's how quickly I switch. And then I was hardcore into retro and then back and forth and just whatever sparks my mind. And I like something and I want it, I will, I'll get it. And I don't run up debt. I have the cash. Someone out there has this trait and they're running up debt. You got to be careful. But yeah, it's just like, it's wild. And then trying to think of other examples. It's just working out. I 100% dedicate so much energy and mental energy into working out because I know it's beneficial. It's a stress relief and it like helps with depression. It really does. If I miss my workouts, it messes with my drastically. Like I have to do it. And it's like an OCD, an obsessive compulsive disorder mixed with addictive personality. It really is. It's a good thing. A very good thing to be obsessed about. Now, moderation and everything. Get overwork out, whatever. Some people argue on that. You want to channel it into positive, productive. An addictive personality can be very beneficial. Same with ADD, but that's a whole other topic. This video is getting long. I went off on a tangent. I was trying to like show how quickly you can, your addictive personality can switch up and move around, and you just got to learn to ebb and flow with it. And it's weird with me because I'm pretty sure I have ADD mixed with OCD mixed with addictive personalities. It's like a nightmare, but it's a blessing too. I always, the OCD in me mixed with the addictive personality, if I buy a retro game, right, and there's a whole series, I will have the compulsion to buy out the whole series. And I hate that. It's like, you have one piece, it's like, you have to have all the pieces. It's just the way. Completionist types. A blessing and a curse. But yeah, there's not much more to say. It's just if you have it, you know what I'm talking about, or if you know somebody who has it and you don't, you know how they can be. And when someone's channeling all that into like drug abuse and substance abuse, which is the same, they can spiral out of control super quick, and the relapses can be very quick, right? It's just that's where they're focusing that energy. They gotta channel it elsewhere, reroute their brain, and it's hard to do. It's really it.